How to improve your English speaking skills. Reading and listening in English come easily to you, but speaking feels challenging. Even though you know the words and grammar, you may struggle to find the right words or feel nervous when it's time to talk. Fear of making mistakes can sometimes hold you back from speaking freely. Gaining confidence requires more practice. Engaging in conversations with friends, joining language groups, or even speaking to yourself can be helpful. Instead of aiming for perfection, focus on speaking as much as possible. A great way to improve is by listening to English and repeating what you hear. With regular practice, your confidence will grow. What is one way you can practice speaking English more confidently? Share your answer in the comments.
Okay, so you've got a few minutes to discuss with your partner.
So, as far as I know, the main similarity between Mars and Earth is that they can both support human life.
Yeah, but do we know that's actually true? I mean, Mars is much colder than Earth, isn't it? It says here it's about minus 55 degrees most of the time, whereas on Earth, only places like Antarctica get that cold.
True. Well then, I suppose you could say both planets are a similar distance from the Sun.
No way! Mars is much further away. It says here it's about 228 million kilometers, while Earth is about 150 million.
Yes, but in space that's not that far. Jupiter is like almost 780 million kilometers. That's why we use astronomical units when we talk about distance in space. Earth is 1 astronomical unit from the Sun, and Mars is 1.3. The difference doesn't sound so big when you look at it that way.
I see what you mean. Jupiter is 5.2 astronomical units, so I guess you're right. What other similarities are there between the two planets?
Let's see. Not the colour, obviously.
Yeah, Earth is called the blue planet, and Mars is called the red planet for pretty obvious reasons.
Their sizes are pretty different. Mars is about half the size of Earth.
What about this? It looks like the days on both planets are almost the same length. Earth's day is 24 hours, but Mars's is about half an hour longer.
You're right. Okay. Any other things they both share?
I suppose you could say they have water in common.
Could you? How?
Well, Earth is 70% water, and Mars probably had huge oceans in the past. It's just that most of the water there now is probably frozen.
Ah, I see. I don't think we can say the air is the same, though. Most of Earth's air is nitrogen and oxygen. But Mars
doesn't really have air, not compared with Earth. It's got about 1% as much air as Earth.
Right, and it's mostly carbon dioxide.
Gravity is another difference. I didn't know this, but Mars has higher gravity than the Moon. But it's much less than on Earth, of course.
Oh, yes. It says Mars has about 38% of Earth's gravity.
Okay, let's see what you've found. Hello? Junko Mori speaking. How can I help you?
Hi, Junko. It's Andrea here from Red Band. I'm calling about our latest order.
Everything arrived okay, right? We got the delivery confirmation at our end.
Yes, everything's fine with the order. I'm calling about the invoice and the payment terms. I need a favor.
A favor? What do you need?
This is a little, difficult, but I need an extension on the payment terms. I know they're usually 30 days, but we're having some cash flow problems. You'd really be helping us out if you could extend it to 60 days?
I'm not sure if I can do that, Andrea. We've got regulations at our end and also have to manage our own cash flow.
I promise this won't become the norm, Junko. Actually, I also want to place another new order. The same size order as last time. It's for an important customer and they pay on delivery.
I see. So your cash flow problem will be solved after this new order is delivered.
Exactly.
That sounds good. Hold on, Andrea. Let me see what I can do. Yes, I think we can make an exception this time.
That's great, Junko. I appreciate your help.
And we appreciate your business, Andrea. It works both ways.
Thanks again, Junko. Can you send me a quick email confirmation of the payment terms extension?
Sure, no problem. We're happy to help you.
Great. And I'll email you the new order.
Thanks. I'll keep an eye out for it. Talk to you soon.
You too. Goodbye.
As you know, our team has grown a lot in the past year, and we feel we need to address the diversity in the team.
How do you mean, address the diversity?
Well, we all know that diversity in teams is a good thing, but it can also be a challenge for some people to respect and value people's differences. We've got a really diverse team here. People of different nationalities, backgrounds, religions, ages, and sometimes I don't feel we make the most of this.
Yes, and even if it isn't specifically challenging, many people are simply unaware of the isolation that some team members may feel because they are different.
So, what does this mean? What are we going to do?
Well, we need to create a workplace charter. You know, one that promotes equality, diversity, and inclusion.
That sounds like a good idea, but will people just see it as something the management team has created? Maybe they won't even pay attention to it.
I know. That's why we're going to involve everyone in creating it.
That's a good idea. We could run some workshops and get ideas from the employees about how we can create a more inclusive workplace.
Exactly. I was thinking that before that, we could run some team building sessions so they can experience the value of diversity for themselves.
Yes, I like that. Many people see diversity as something negative, often because there are different opinions or ways of doing things.
Yes, I know. But if there's no diversity, then the risk is that we all work in the same way, think the same, and see the world the same. This makes it hard to be creative and to innovate.
I completely agree, Nina. Okay, so what do you want us to do?
Stefano, can you look for a successful trainer who specializes in running workshops and team building sessions on diversity and inclusion?
Sure, I'll be happy to.
And Brenda, can you find a fun venue, somewhere that is quite diverse itself? Something that's not the usual seminar-style environment.
Sure, that'll be fun.
And I'm going to do some further research into how other organizations are benefiting from their diversity. I can share this with the whole team.
So, today's expert teacher is Gabriella, a university English teacher from Leeds. Gabriella, hi, and thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So, I have to confess today's topic is something I am really bad at: listening. Most people say speaking is the most stressful part of learning a new language, but for me, with my B1 German, speaking isn't so bad. At least I'm in control of it, but listening, whoa. People speak so fast, and it's like my brain just shuts down. Am I just really strange and bad at listening? Tell me honestly, I can take it.
No, you're not strange. In fact, it's really common. You know, in exams, most people do pretty well in speaking compared with listening. Of course, exams are a different situation from real life because in an exam, you can't ask for something to be repeated or explained. You usually have just one or maybe two opportunities to listen to the dialogue and then it's gone.
Right, but in real life, I feel stupid always saying, "Sorry, can you repeat that, please?" Especially if I still don't understand, even when they repeat it. And people out there listening, I hope you don't do this. Quite often, the person just repeats what they said equally as fast, and I'm still lost.
They do, don't they? In real life, you've got two strategies. One is to pretend to understand and get out of the conversation as fast as you can.
Yep, sounds familiar.
But obviously, that's not going to help if it's a conversation with high stakes. It might have important consequences. I mean, if you're just chatting with a stranger at the bus stop, it doesn't matter. But imagine you're at a government office or a bank trying to find out what paperwork you need to get your ID or open a bank account. What can you do then?
I hope you got the answer, Gabriella, because I'm coming out in a cold sweat just thinking about either of those situations.
The other strategy is to summarize what they said.
But how can you do that if you didn't understand what they said?
Well, you only start the summary. So you might say, in German in your case, okay, so the first thing I have to do is, and make it a question. Or, for example, and which office is that again? Break it down into smaller questions and the other person will naturally start answering them. That way you're controlling the conversation a bit more.
I get you. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the first lecture of our new course in positive psychology. While some people may associate psychology with looking at what's wrong with us and at what problems we have, there is much more to psychology than that. Positive psychology, for example, looks at how to help people become happier. This lecture begins with a question. What makes a happy life? Now, I'm going to give you one possible answer. A happy life is a life in which you are completely absorbed in what you do. Now, how does this compare with what you and your partner said? This answer comes from the work of Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi and the theory of flow. Csikszentmihalyi is a psychologist who has spent much of his professional life on the study of what makes people happy and how we can find happiness. Csikszentmihalyi suggests the theory that happiness is not caused by external events or things that happen to us. Our perception of these things and how we see these events either makes us happy or sad. In other words, if we want happiness, we have to actively look for it. However, this does not mean that we should always look for happiness. Csikszentmihalyi believed that our happiest moments happen when we are in a state of flow. The theory of flow can be summarized like this. When we are totally involved in or focused on what we are doing, we are in a state of flow. Csikszentmihalyi got the inspiration for this theory when he noticed how artists worked in a studio. They completely lost track of time. They didn't notice they were hungry or tired, and they could work for hours, even days, without stopping. Anyone I've spoken to who has experienced this state of concentration has said it's difficult to explain. The best way to explain it is that it is like being in a river, and the flow of the water carries you away. For the rest of this lecture, I will explore this theory of flow in more detail. First, we will look at Csikszentmihalyi's life and how it influenced his ideas. Then we will look at the conditions that go with a state of flow. What creates flow exactly? Finally, we will look at activities that can help us achieve flow in our everyday lives. Will this course make you happy for life? Well, maybe. Maybe. Right, let's get started. If you look at the next slide.
Sorry. Oh, sorry. Excuse me. I'm just coming to sit over here. Phew. Hey, how's it going? So, what have I missed?
Nothing. He just started around 5 minutes ago.
Did he say anything about the midterm?
What?
About the midterm tests? Did he say anything about when he was going to hand them back?
He's almost finished marking them, he said. We get them next Tuesday.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. When do we get them?
Tuesday, next Tuesday.
Okay, got it. Sorry, what page are we meant to be on?
Page 34.
Page 34. Oh, wait, I don't have my textbook. Can I share with you? Wow, this is hard stuff. What does SEO mean?
What?
SEO. This is all about SEO, but he hasn't said what it means.
Search engine optimization. How to appear on internet searches.
Internet searches. Right, okay.
He said what it meant.
What?
He explained it before you got here.
Oh, right. Okay.
Can you be quiet? I'm trying to listen to the lecture.
So am I. Sorry. Sorry. One more question. What does this have to do with the American Revolution?
What?
I don't get it. Why is he talking about search engines in a course on the American Revolution?
What are you talking about? This is a class on software engineering.
You mean it's not early American history?
You're in the wrong class.
Oh, wow. Oh, now it all makes sense. I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine.
Here, I'll just... Excuse me. I'm in the wrong class. Excuse me. Thanks. Sorry. Oh, just... Sorry.
Hello, can I help?
Yes, my wife sent me here. I need something for a sore throat and can't stop coughing. Really hurts.
Do you have a headache too?
Not really, no.
Well, we have this syrup and these lozenges.
Which is better?
They're both good. The syrup is more expensive.
Oh, well... I'll take the lozenges then. How many do I take?
Just one.
Sorry. I'm sorry. How often should I take it?
Just one every 4 to 6 hours. Take it before mealtimes. Are you allergic to any medicine?
No.
Then you'll be fine with this.
Can I get some antibiotics too?
I'm afraid you need a prescription for that.
Oh.
You know, you should really see a doctor if that cough continues.
Thanks. I know.
Anything else?
No, thanks.
That'll be £7.49 then, please.
So, did you see the final episode last night?
Of course! As if I would miss that.
And?
It was by far the best episode. Definitely.
Yeah, totally. The dragon at the end and all the special effects in that final scene were amazing.
I loved that part. But I still don't think this series was as good as the others.
Really? But you said you wouldn't want to miss it.
I know, but still, it's a lot more predictable than it used to be.
But that's because the story has been told so well that all the characters are reaching their destiny now.
I don't know. Before, anyone could die at any time, so it was exciting. But this series, no key characters died, and we all knew they wouldn't. When Jamie fell in the water after the dragon attacked him, we knew he would make it somehow. And, oh surprise, Bron jumps in and saves him.
They did kill some characters in this series, though. What was that one's name?
Exactly. See? You can't even remember who died.
The only thing I didn't like about this series was that it was shorter than the others. 7 episodes instead of 10. Maybe they spent all their money on that dragon.
Right. I don't understand why they did it, as all the fans would happily watch 10 episodes.
I reckon that now they're not using the story in the books anymore, they don't have as many ideas.
That would explain why they're not being as brave with the story too. It's more like a Hollywood film than a TV show now.
So, is Tyrion still your favorite character?
You know, surprisingly, I think my favorite might be Cersei.
What?
She's so interesting. All the awful things she's done and the way she's just aiming for revenge, even though it won't make her happy. she still surprises us because we are expecting her to have a happy ending where she sees her mistakes and becomes a good person. But she never does, no matter what it costs her. She's unpredictable because we just can't believe anyone would be like her.
I guess you don't have to like a character for them to be your favorite. Thanks for coming, everyone. So we're here today to define the timeline for our new project.
Yes, Gianni, that's a great idea.
Okay, what do you need from us?
Hold on a moment. I think we need to decide between us what to do to make sure it works for all departments.
Yes, exactly. Don't worry. We're going to discuss this and make a decision together. Let's first think about the scheduling of each project phase. What do you think, Emiko?
Can I interrupt? I think we should first be clear about the process we'll use to make the decision. How are we going to do it?
Ah, yes, good point. Well, I think the best way is for each of you to give your opinion, and then we can discuss and make a decision.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yes, that works for me too. I know we're still planning the structure of the later phases of the project, but I think we should begin phase 1 as soon as possible. We can work out the rest later as we go along.
I'm sorry, I don't think so. How can we start phase 1 if we're not fully clear on where the rest of the project will take us? We might make a wrong decision and waste time.
I agree with you on that point, David. However, we'll waste too much time if we wait until everything is planned before we actually start working on the project. I think we should take an agile approach.
Agile approach?
Well, it means that we start quickly and then adapt as we go along.
That's right.
Carolina, you've been very quiet.
I'm sorry. I didn't want to interrupt. I'm listening and thinking.
Do you agree we should get the plan right first and then start with phase 1?
I'm sorry, David. I don't think I agree with you. It's important to have a good plan, but plans can change, even the good ones. And business changes often. We need to be flexible, and we also need to move quickly.
Okay, so should we take a vote?
Well, you're the project leader. Let's go with your decision.
Yes, I'll follow your lead, Jenny.
Well, I guess that's decided then. We'll follow your agile approach, Janny. Start quickly and keep planning the later stages of the project.
Yes, that's right.
I still don't think this is the right decision, but I'm happy to go with the majority. We should add some space into the schedule later for additional work this flexibility will need.
Don't worry, David, we will. Okay, so it's decided then. We'll start phase 1 as soon as possible, and in the background we'll continue planning the later phases and adapt them as we go along.
Patrick, is that you?
Selena, hello.
Well, Patrick Eastwood. How have you been?
Good, great, actually. How are you? I haven't seen you for, how long?
It's been ages. At least 15 years. Wow.
Yeah, wow. So what are you doing here?
Oh, sorry, you go first.
Okay, what are you doing here? I thought you'd moved to London.
I was in London for a couple of years, but it didn't work out.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Are you okay?
I'm fine. The dream job wasn't really a dream, you know. And London is great, but it's so expensive. I mean, just the rent on a flat is crazy expensive.
I see.
So I came back. I've been back now for almost 5 months, living back home with Mum and Dad, which is interesting. But anyway, what about you?
Me? Oh, nothing new. You know me. Patrick the Predictable. I never left here.
Oh, and is that...
Oh, I'm very happy. I'm married now. We've just celebrated our 10th anniversary.
No way! You? Married? To...
I don't think you know her. Her name's Marigold. And we've got 2 kids. They're 5 and 8 years old.
Married and with 2 kids? Wow.
Don't look so surprised.
No. I'm just amazed how time flies. I'm happy for you. I really am.
Thanks. You should really come round to the house one day.
That would be great. Let's swap numbers and...
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the first lecture of our new course in positive psychology. While some people may associate psychology with looking at what's wrong with us and at what problems we have, there is much more to psychology than that. Positive psychology, for example, looks at how to help people become happier. This lecture begins with a question. What makes a happy life? Now, I'm going to give you one possible answer. A happy life is a life in which you are completely absorbed in what you do. Now, how does this compare with what you and your partner said? This answer comes from the work of Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi and the theory of flow. Csikszentmihalyi is a psychologist who has spent much of his professional life on the study of what makes people happy and how we can find happiness. Csikszentmihalyi suggests the theory that happiness is not caused by external events or things that happen to us. Our perception of these things and how we see these events either makes us happy or sad. In other words, if we want happiness, we have to actively look for it. However, this does not mean that we should always look for happiness. Csikszentmihalyi believed that our happiest moments happen when we are in a state of flow. The theory of flow can be summarized like this. When we are totally involved in or focused on what we are doing, we are in a state of flow. Csikszentmihalyi got the inspiration for this theory when he noticed how artists worked in a studio. They completely lost track of time. They didn't notice they were hungry or tired, and they could work for hours, even days, without stopping. Anyone I've spoken to who has experienced this state of concentration has said it's difficult to explain. The best way to explain it is that it is like being in a river, and the flow of the water carries you away. For the rest of this lecture, I will explore this theory of flow in more detail. First, we will look at Csikszentmihalyi's life and how it influenced his ideas. Then we will look at the conditions that go with a state of flow. What creates flow exactly? Finally, we will look at activities that can help us achieve flow in our everyday lives. Will this course make you happy for life? Well, maybe. Maybe. Right, let's get started. If you look at the next slide.
Hello and good morning. Well, we're off to a good start in the south this week as most of the rain from the weekend has disappeared. Just a few patches of cloud and maybe some showers here on the east coast. They're all clear up by lunchtime though. Over the next day or so, London and the area around Kent can expect a couple of isolated showers, but mostly dry through until Thursday. It's not such good news for the northwest this week, I'm afraid. More wet weather and not a lot of sunshine. Some of today's showers will be heavy and even thundery in Manchester and across the Pennines. Leeds will escape the thunderstorms with drizzle and light rain only throughout the rest of the day and tonight. Elsewhere, it becomes dry today, but with some foggy patches towards Wales. In England, tomorrow morning will see a dry, bright start in most places, with high temperatures throughout the week. We might see 1 or 2 thunderstorms appearing as the week goes on, with temperatures everywhere at 29 to 30 degrees. By the weekend, unfortunately, the dry weather will make way for mostly cloudy skies and rain. The rain will move from Scotland down towards the north and reach the south coast by Saturday afternoon. Temperatures at least will stay mostly warm at around 21 degrees for the weekend. It might feel like a nice change from the high 20s and early 30s we'll see in the week. That's all from me until tomorrow. Enjoy the mini heatwave while you can. Good morning, everyone. On today's show, we've got Chris Benson with us, the author of No More 9 to 5, the new best-selling book about work-life balance in the current working world. Good morning, Chris. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me, Anna.
So, Chris, tell us about your book and how the concept of a work-life balance has been changing.
Well, in the more traditional workplaces, people's working lives and their private lives are, or were, clearly divided. People often work from 9 in the morning until 5 or 6 in the evening. People sometimes stay late in the office and work in the evenings. This is called working overtime.
Okay, and what else?
Well, in these environments, it isn't common for people to work at the weekend or while they're on holiday. They can clearly separate their working lives and their private lives. And the evenings, weekends, and holidays are free to focus on non-work areas of life, such as hobbies, interests, sports, spending time with the family and friends, and so on. It's important and healthy not to spend all your time just working, right?
Right. So, what has changed? How are things different now?
Well, for a start, most people can now access their work emails from their mobile phones, so they are more likely to quickly reply to an important mail in the evening or at the weekend. The same goes for laptops. It's easier to access your work in the evenings from home or even from your hotel when you're on holiday.
That doesn't sound like much of a work-life balance. It sounds like all work.
Exactly. But this new mobility brings a lot of advantages with it. More people are now able to work flexibly, so if they need to leave the office early one afternoon to be with their family, they can catch up on work that evening from home or somewhere else.
That sounds good. So, what you're saying is that although traditional divisions between work and life are fading, many employees now have more freedom to do their work from different locations and at different times.
Yes, that's it.
The first item in the news today is the recent elections that took place across the country. This was a crucial vote which may see a dramatic change in how the country develops over the coming years. Overall, a 54.5% voter turnout was registered. This represents an increase of 11% over the previous election and 6% above the average for the past 50 years. There's also been a slight change in demographics, with an increase in youth turnout in the 18 to 24 and 24 to 29-year-old brackets. Despite this increase, young people are still less likely to vote than older people. 84% of voters in the 70-plus age group came to the polling stations. Moving on. The global digital powerhouse ONK today posted quarterly results which were above forecast. Back in March, Tim Bolling, CEO, issued a profit warning over fears that there would be losses following the recall of their leading product, the 40D device. In fact, the company posted quarterly revenue of $14.8 billion, which represents an increase of 11% from the same quarter a year ago. They also announced that they had sold 21 million 40D devices over the quarter. The company has provided the information that with this level of revenue, there will be a gross margin of 34 to 35%, ultimately leading to a $1.2 per share cash dividend awarded to shareholders. And in our final news item, we ask, will we soon be saying goodbye to coins and notes forever? The nationwide trend of using cashless payment options is increasing. There are a number of reasons for this development. A key reason for this is a growing interest in reducing the number of items people need to leave their homes with. As almost everyone carries a smartphone with them, and many people also have smartwatches, the ability to pay for things using one of these two technologies is particularly appealing. More and more retailers are accepting cashless payments, and in some cases, they've stopped accepting cash altogether.
Hey, you guys. I've been looking for you. I've got an idea. A study group. What do you think? Are you interested?
Yes, I need a study group in a big way.
Me too.
Do you think we have enough people here for a study group? I mean, there are only 4 of us.
Sorry, 3 of us. Chris can do study group. Right, Chris?
Yeah, there's no way I can do a study group. I have an assignment and then I'm too busy, but I'll stay for this first meeting.
Should we try and get another group together with us for this?
No, I don't think so. I think 3 is fine. Ideal size. Really.
Me too.
Okay, 3 people then. 4 people for the first meeting. What next?
What about a meeting place? We can't meet here in the library.
It's not too bad, especially if those other people would go away.
But we can't exactly ask them to leave and people might get annoyed with us talking.
Can I say something here?
Sure, go ahead.
There's a study hall next to the cafeteria. It's almost always empty. Could we meet there?
A study hall? Who knew? Well, sounds good to me.
Yeah, I've never been there, but...
So we ought to decide how long for and how often.
I read somewhere that you should make the meeting at the same time each week, like a seminar. That way we'd take it more seriously.
We may as well make it for this time since we're all here. Is this time okay?
Works for me.
Me too.
Hang on just a minute. I know I'm not going to be in this group, but aren't we supposed to have a seminar at this time every other week?
No, Thursday, no?
No, that's on Thursday.
Sorry, forget I said anything.
Don't worry about it.
So everyone agrees that this time is fine. Every week?
Yeah.
Yes. How long should we make it?
An hour?
Could we find a way of making it 2 hours?
2 hours seems a bit like too much. To start with then,
90 minutes? Compromise?
is that okay with you, Dina?
Fine by me.
Okay, so I guess all we have left to decide is exactly what we'll do when we meet. The final exam is a way off. I guess we could review our notes or practice learning things by heart.
I have a list of do's and don'ts, actually, that I got online. I could be a moderator, and we could use the ideas as a starting point.
Hello, welcome to Shake It Off Fitness. How can I help you?
Yes, thanks. I've been meaning to come in and find some information about here for some time. I was wondering if you could help me.
Sure, of course. What would you like to know?
I saw on the sign outside that you have the best budget membership in the city. Is that right?
You've got that right, yes. If you find a better rate, then we'll match it. Also, we don't have any sign-up fees or cancellation fees.
Sorry, what was that last bit?
Cancellation fees. Some gyms charge you money if you leave before a minimum number of months or something like that. We don't do that.
Well, that's useful to know. What times do you have?
We open at 5 a.m. and close at midnight.
Not 24 hours then, I see.
No, almost though. We tried doing the 24-hour thing, but there really weren't a lot of people who wanted to do exercise at 2 in the morning.
Makes sense. Another question. Do you have trainers? Like, will you do a personalised evaluation of me?
Sure we do. As we say on our brochure, we can show you what to do, how to do it, and why you're doing it. Have you worked with a personal trainer before?
No. No, I haven't, no.
So, it's very easy. For your first visits, we'll assign you one of our expert personal trainers. He or she will design an exercise plan that's just right for you and show you exactly what to do. We even include nutrition advice in the plan.
Let me get this straight. All of this is included in the price?
Yes, it is. if you want to continue with your trainer after the first few classes, we can talk about that. It does cost extra though, okay?
Yeah, sounds great.
Do you have any other questions?
Yeah. Okay. Why should I choose here instead of any of the other gyms in the city?
What? You mean apart from our competitive rates and personalized attention?
Yeah, I guess.
Listen, here's a free day pass. Why don't you drop by and see for yourself? That way you can talk to other members, see the facilities and our staff.
Okay, I'll do that. Thanks very much.
Hi, how are you? I haven't seen you in class for a while.
Good, thanks. You?
Great. As long as I don't think too hard about all the essays I have to write this term.
Yeah.
Hey, are you okay?
I have to admit, I'm struggling a bit. Maybe even a lot. I've not been sleeping well at all, and then I can't concentrate. And all these things are just going around and around in my head.
That doesn't sound good. So, you're sleeping badly and you can't concentrate. Is that all it is, do you think?
Well, if I'm honest, it's more than that. I'm starting to dread going outside. I find myself worrying about stupid things like, what if I forget the way home? Or what if I go to class thinking it's Monday, but actually it's Friday, and I'm in the wrong place at the wrong time? It sounds even more stupid when I say it out loud. It took me 2 hours to leave the house today.
It doesn't sound stupid at all. It actually sounds a lot like me last year.
Really? But you're so together.
I've learned to be. But even I still have bad days. I used to have panic attacks and everything. When you were trying to leave the house today, how did you feel?
Like I couldn't breathe, and my heart was going way too fast.
That sounds like a panic attack to me.
I thought I was going to die.
You'd be surprised how common they are. Loads of people have them. They just don't talk about it.
How did you get over them?
I actually talked to a doctor about it, and you should too. But I learned some practical things as well. Though they're easier said than done. And they're going to sound weird, so hear me out, okay?
Okay.
So, one thing I did was to try to reduce the power of anxiety and the panic attacks when they came. So, and this may sound strange, at a time when you're feeling safe and okay, you literally do things that make your heart start racing faster and your breathing speed up. Like spinning around on a chair until you're dizzy or hyperventilating so you're short of breath.
That sounds awful.
It is, but it means you get used to the symptoms so they feel less scary.
Right.
Then you have to deliberately do the things that usually make you feel panic. So, if it's going to class on Monday, and being scared you've got the wrong day, on Monday you go to class. If you let the anxiety control you by making you stay at home, it just makes it worse the next time you really do have to go out.
And what did you do if a panic attack came anyway?
I had a distraction plan. So I walked everywhere instead of taking the bus because the exercise helped, but also I did things like count trees or red cars or something. Whatever it was didn't matter, as long as I had something else to focus on.
I can't tell you how much I appreciate this. I thought...
Obviously, this is the sequel to Fun in the City, which is a film I didn't like, so it's fair to say my expectations were low. So you could say I wasn't disappointed, as it met my expectations. It was awful. It was so awful, I'd rather not spend any more time on it by talking about it. But that wouldn't be a film review, and I think I owe you all a review to save you wasting your money going to see it. So, it starts off with this big wedding scene, and I won't go into why, but the whole scene is just there so they can make this one joke. It's not even a funny joke, it's just terrible. It's got nothing to do with the rest of the film. Anyway, it starts there. Then, instead of the characters and the plot staying in New York where the original film was set, one of them wins a ticket to India and decides to take all her friends. It's what directors do when they've run out of ideas. Let's take our characters on tour. Anyway, they gossip, cry, and shop, and they repeat this until the end. No real people would ever act like this. I didn't have any sympathy for their problems or even care what happened to them. Don't go and see it. You'll only encourage them to make another sequel. The world doesn't need 3 of these films. Please save your money and go and see the other big film this week, Twilight Mirror. So, if you're a fan of the book it's based on, you're probably as excited as I was about this. For everyone else, this is a film fans have been waiting 10 years to see. I have to confess, I was a bit nervous. I'd seen the posters and they didn't look right. I didn't love them at all. And I wasn't sure about the actors they cast either. So I went in not sure what to expect. But I loved it. One thing I really liked about it was the pace. They went backwards and forwards between the real world and the computer world, and it worked really well. The special effects brought the computer world to life, and I totally believed in it. But more than that, I felt emotionally connected to the story and the characters. The whole film worked on so many levels. It reminded me of going to the cinema as a child, how much fun that was. I can't recommend it enough.
The power of you. Why not take the first step? It's simple. Why not you? You have the intelligence. You have the power to decide. You can analyze the plan. You have the ability to transform your life. In the next few years, you can achieve tremendous growth. You can turn your dreams into reality. You can create financial security for your family. You can achieve great health. You can become strong and influential. So, why not you? Keep moving forward. Every great achievement begins with a simple step forward. Along the way, you may face obstacles that seem overwhelming. But remember, every challenge is an opportunity to grow. Difficulties test your determination, sharpen your skills, and make you stronger than before. Mistakes are not failures, they are lessons in disguise. Each misstep teaches you something valuable, guiding you toward improvement. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. Embrace them as part of your journey. Believe in yourself, even when things get tough. A positive mindset can turn setbacks into stepping stones. Trust your abilities. Stay focused on your goals. And remind yourself why you started in the first place. Success doesn't happen overnight. It requires dedication, patience, and persistence. Keep pushing forward, even when progress feels slow. Every small effort brings you closer to your dreams. No matter what happens, never lose hope. The road may be long, but if you stay committed and keep moving, you will eventually reach the destination you've been striving for. Keep going. You're capable of more than you think, one step at a time. Everyone has dreams and things they want to achieve in life. These dreams give us motivation and a sense of purpose. Having goals helps us stay focused and push ourselves to do better. Whether it's learning a new skill, or traveling to a new place, or starting a creative project, setting a goal gives us something to work toward. To turn a dream into reality, it's important to make a plan. Start by writing down what you want to achieve. Then, break it into smaller steps that you can work on every day. Some days may be challenging, but don't be afraid to ask for help or seek guidance from others. Reaching a goal takes time and effort, but every step forward brings you closer to success. Stay patient, keep trying, and believe in yourself. Remember, even the biggest achievements begin with a single small step.
The family's camping adventure. One sunny morning, Mum, Dad, Ben, and Tess piled into their trusty van, ready for an exciting family camping trip deep in the heart of the forest. This was a new experience for Sam and Pam, who had never been camping before, but they were eager to explore the great outdoors. The adventure was about to begin. As they reached their destination, Dad, always the nature enthusiast, quickly scouted the area to find the perfect spot to set up camp. "Ah, this is perfect," he declared with a satisfied grin. "There's nothing quite like being surrounded by nature, breathing in the fresh air, and feeling the freedom of the open woods," he continued, clearly delighted. "It's pure joy." His passion for camping was obvious, and the rest of the family was eager to get started. Ben and Tess were eager to settle into their tent. As soon as they were inside, they could hear the soft hoots of an owl in the distance. "Twit-twoo! Twit-twoo!" they both mimicked, laughing and enjoying the echo of their owl calls. Tess, always up for some fun, joined in enthusiastically, but Mum wasn't as amused by the constant owl imitations. After a few more rounds of "Twit-twoo! Zrenia," she called out sharply from the other tent. "Oi! Don't be so noisy!" Ben and Tess, however, were undeterred and carried on with their playful owl noises. "Twit-twoo! Twit-twoo!" they shouted, but their fun didn't last long. Pam, who was also in a nearby tent, joined in the call for quiet. "Shh, noisy," she said, clearly hoping to get some peace. The night settled down, and finally, everyone went to sleep. The next day, as the sun peeked through the trees, Ben and Tess set out on a walk through the forest. They didn't have to go far before they met a boy with strikingly fair hair. He seemed to know a lot about the woods and began telling them stories about the creatures that once roamed the area. "Did you know that rare bears used to live in these woods?" the boy said, his voice full of excitement. Tess looked at him, wide-eyed and a little nervous. "I think I prefer my toy bear," she muttered, clutching her plush toy tightly. The thought of real bears in the forest made her feel uneasy. As they walked deeper into the woods, Ben and Tess noticed various animals along the way. They spotted cows grazing in a meadow, deer quietly browsing through the underbrush, and hares hopping around in the tall grass. Mum, who was particularly fond of animals, smiled at the sight. "Hares are like big rabbits with long ears," she explained to Sam and Pam, who were seeing these creatures for the first time. Sam and Pam were excited to identify the animals using their spy pad, a handy gadget they'd brought along. "Hare, cow, deer," they shouted, taking turns naming the animals. The adventure continued, with the family walking through thick patches of trees, leaves, and twigs that crunched underfoot. Dad, always cautious, reminded them to stay alert. "Be careful, some of these sticks are sharp," he warned as they trekked along. It wasn't long before Ben let out a yelp. "Ouch!" he exclaimed, clutching his ear. He had accidentally brushed against a sharp stick. Dad, ever prepared, quickly dug out some ointment from the first aid kit. "This will cure you," he said, carefully applying it to Ben's ear. "Are you sure?" Ben asked, still rubbing his sore ear, but Dad was confident. "Trust me, it's all part of the adventure," he said with a reassuring smile. That evening, after a long day of exploration, it was time to wind down. "Go to sleep now, everyone," Dad instructed as the stars began to twinkle in the sky above. The family settled into their tents, and for a while, everything was quiet. But then, they all heard a strange noise, a rustling sound in the bushes, followed by a deep grunt. Mum, Dad, Ben, and Tess peeked cautiously out of their tents. In the moonlight, they could just make out the shape of a wild pig wandering near their camp. It had a shaggy coat of brown fur and a long, snout-like nose. The family watched in stunned silence as it snuffled around. "Get away from here!" Mum shouted, her voice sharp and commanding. The wild pig, startled by the noise, turned and lumbered off into the darkness. The family stayed awake for a while longer, making sure the wild pig didn't come back. Once they were certain it was gone, they all breathed a sigh of relief. Despite the scare, the day had been filled with so much joy and wonder that no one could feel scared for long. On the drive home the next morning, Tess was the first to speak. "What a great camping adventure," she said, her face glowing with excitement. "Nature is so much fun, that's for sure." Ben, still rubbing his ear but smiling nonetheless, added, "Thanks, Mum and Dad, for this amazing adventure." Even though he had a little sore spot on his ear, the memories of their time in the forest were more than enough to make up for it. And so, the family say...
A betrayal and the weight of sacrifice. In a small village where life was simple but difficult, there lived a man who had fought for the woman he loved. After saving her from a brothel, he and she created a life that included 2 boys aged just 1.5 years and a girl aged 7. It wasn't an easy life. They were far from rich. They had each other. Or at least that's what he thought. Then came the opportunity, or the illusion of an opportunity. His wife, with her silent despair to escape the confines of their small world, decided to go work in Spain. She would pick strawberries, and they both hoped to improve their lives. She asked her husband to support her decision. Despite his deep reservations, he didn't want her to leave, especially with the children so young. But he eventually accepted. After all, it was for his family, for their future. The day she left marked the beginning of the downfall. She had promised that she would return. Shortly after her arrival in Spain, her perspective changed. Life there was not what she had imagined. The work was exhausting, distance from his family overwhelming, and the isolation relentless. That's when she met someone else. Maybe she was looking for something more. Or maybe she just wanted to feel alive again. Whatever the reasons, she made the fateful decision to file for divorce. It wasn't the first time their marriage was on the brink of separation. 4 years earlier, she had asked for a divorce and she did. But after the divorce she changed her mind, wanting to try again. The husband had then forgiven her, clinging to the hope that their family could become whole again. But now, it was different.
She had gone to Spain to escape, and in her flight, she had lost herself and her commitment to their family. The news of her divorce request hit him like a punch in the stomach. Alone with the children, he had no choice but to run the household. He no longer worked. His job had dried up, leaving him without income. He had to take the children to school, prepare their meals, and maintain a semblance of normalcy for them, even though his heart was breaking. Amidst all this, she returned, full of regrets. She missed her children, she missed him, and she realized she had made a terrible mistake. But it was too late. The damage was done. Her absence, her choices, and the emotional weight had pushed her to a breaking point. He no longer wanted her. He could no longer trust her. Their once bright future had been consumed by betrayal, by a decision that would haunt them both. The final divorce came 4 years after she left for Spain, and by that time, they were both too far gone to fix what had been broken. The children, now caught between 2 worlds, will have to navigate their lives with the shadow of this betrayal looming over them.
Silly sheep's big escape. One day a sheep named Benny was very bored. He didn't want to stay in the field. He wanted fun. He wanted adventure. So Benny squeezed through a hole in the fence and ran away. "Freedom!" he cheered. First he ran into town. People stared. A little boy pointed. "Look, a fluffy dog!" Benny was not a dog, but he liked the attention. Then he saw a bakery. It smelled so good. He walked inside, but the baker shouted, "No sheep allowed?" Benny tried to grab a muffin, but he only had hooves. He knocked over a whole tray of cookies instead. Oops! Benny ran out fast. He found a playground and jumped onto a swing. Whee! But swings are tricky for sheep. He fell off. Thud! Just then, Farmer Tom arrived. "Benny, what are you doing?" Benny looked up and gave his best innocent sheep smile. "Bah!" Farmer Tom sighed. "Let's go home." Back at the farm, Benny flopped onto the grass. No muffins, no swings, but still a good day. Maybe tomorrow he'd try the ice cream shop.
Hey, everyone, welcome to Life Simplified. I'm Maya.
And I'm Tom. We're here to have real conversations about life. About the things that can get overwhelming, confusing, and honestly, a little bit complicated sometimes. but the goal is to talk about it in a way that makes it feel a little more manageable.
Exactly. Life doesn't have to be as complicated as we sometimes make it. We're just two friends chatting about what we've learned along the way, and hoping that something we say resonates with you. So, today, we're diving into a big one: how to simplify life when it feels like everything's too much.
Oh, I think we can both relate to that. You know, when you wake up, look at your to-do list, and you feel like you're already behind before you've even started the day?
Ugh. The worst feeling. It's like you're expected to be everywhere, do everything, and somehow still have energy to be your best self. And then, when you don't manage it, it feels like you're failing, right?
Exactly. And I think the problem is, we're constantly told we need to do more to be successful, to feel accomplished. But I've come to realize that doing more doesn't always mean we're living better. Sometimes we need to do less to actually enjoy the moment.
Yes. I've been trying to embrace that mindset lately. We're all so busy rushing from one thing to the next. But I've noticed that when I allow myself to slow down, even for just a few minutes, I feel so much more at peace.
That's a big one, slowing down. It's not easy, though, especially in a world that values being constantly on, right? Like, if we're not answering emails in real time, or keeping up with social media, we feel like we're falling behind. But the truth is, life doesn't stop just because we're taking a breather.
Exactly. And you know what else I've been thinking about? We tend to complicate things when we believe we need to have everything figured out all the time. Like, there's this pressure to always have a plan, to always know what's next.
Oh, 100%. I feel that pressure all the time. But the more I try to figure everything out, the more stressed I get. It's almost like the more we try to control things, the less we actually enjoy the experience. Like, when I'm constantly thinking about the future, I miss out on the present.
That's so true. So, how do we uncomplicate life? How do we take away the noise and focus on what really matters?
Great question. I think a big part of it is just being in the moment. Sounds simple, but it's powerful. Like, when you're eating a meal, really taste it. When you're with a friend, really listen. We're so used to multitasking and thinking about a million things at once that we forget to be present.
Yes. I read something recently that said, when you're doing something, be doing only that. It hit me hard because I realized how often I'm doing multiple things at once, checking my phone while watching TV, responding to messages during dinner. And it's like, none of it is truly enjoyable when you're not fully there.
I feel that. It's like your brain is constantly jumping from one thing to another, and nothing feels satisfying. But when you just focus on one thing, just one thing, it feels more fulfilling. Like, when I stop everything and really hear someone, or when I just enjoy a walk outside, it feels so much better than doing a bunch of things at once.
Absolutely. And I think we need to give ourselves permission to say no more often, too. We feel this pressure to say yes to everything, to keep up with every event, every request, every new opportunity. But when you say yes to everything, you're saying no to yourself.
That's a tough one, especially for people who want to be helpful or supportive. But you're right. Saying no isn't selfish. It's about protecting your time and energy so that when you do say yes, it's because you really want to, not because you're afraid of letting someone down.
Exactly. And I've realized that saying no doesn't just mean turning down things. It can also mean saying no to certain thoughts, like the negative, self-critical thoughts that pop up when we're feeling overwhelmed.
Oh, I hear that. It's so easy to get caught up in the cycle of self-doubt. I'm not doing enough. I'm not good enough. And it just spirals. But when you catch yourself in that negative thinking, it's helpful to remind yourself that you're allowed to be human, that you don't need to be perfect.
Right. And that's a big part of simplifying life, too, being kind to yourself. So much of our stress comes from the pressure we put on ourselves. But if we can learn to take a step back and just say, it's okay. I'm doing the best I can, that can take off so much of the weight.
Yes. I think it's about accepting that life isn't always going to go according to plan. Sometimes things go wrong, and that's okay. We can't control everything, but we can control how we react to it. And I think when we stop overthinking every little thing, we open up space for more joy, more peace, and more freedom.
Absolutely. And you know, another thing that has helped me simplify life is focusing on gratitude. Just taking a moment each day to think about the things I'm thankful for. It's so easy to get caught up in what's missing or what's going wrong. But when you stop and notice the good things, even small things, it shifts your perspective.
I love that. Gratitude is a game changer. It's like, suddenly, instead of feeling like you're falling behind, you realize you already have everything you need. A roof over your head, food to eat, people who care about you. Those are the things that matter the most. Not how many things are checked off your to-do list.
Exactly. And you know, we also have to remember that life isn't a race. It's so easy to get caught up in comparing ourselves to others, whether it's career, relationships, or just where we are in life. But everyone is on their own path. And that's okay. You're not behind. You're just where you need to be.
Yes, I used to get really anxious about not being where I thought I'd be by now. But then I realized that everyone's journey looks different. And just because someone else is ahead in one area doesn't mean they're ahead in every area. We all have our strengths, our struggles, and our timelines.
So true. So, for anyone listening today, if you're feeling overwhelmed or like you're trying to do too much, just take a breath. Remember, life is about progress, not perfection. It's about finding joy in the small moments, letting go of what you can't control, and being kind to yourself.
And don't forget to slow down. Life doesn't have to be a race. It's okay to just be. In fact, it's necessary.
Right. So, take a moment to appreciate where you are right now. You're doing great. Keep going at your own pace, and remember that you don't have to have it all figured out to live a good life.
That's it for today's episode of Life Simplified. We hope this conversation helps take some of the pressure off and reminds you that you don't have to do it all. Just take things one step at a time.
Thanks so much for joining us. We'll catch you next time.
Until then, take care, take it easy, and keep it simple.